Welcome back to another one of these videos. Today we are going to be covering the special variant battleship. We'll go ahead and get into it. If you have played the logic puzzle battleship, then this one it basically operates very similarly to that genre of puzzle. Otherwise, the way this one works is that all mines are going to be part of a 1x1, 1x2, 1x3, 1x4 block. Basically, that just means a line of up to 4 blocks, or up 4 mines rather. And the specific rules for this is that any of these ships, I guess in the context of battleship, cannot touch each other at all, including diagonally. So you can see here with this, for instance, we have a ship of a size 4 here, and we can see that all of the cells kind of outlining it, and if we could continue around the entire grid, it would all go all the way around there, have no mines in them. And actually a consequence of this rule set is that if you place a mine, you can immediately know that all cells diagonal to that mine are no longer, or rather cannot be mines. That's just a standard consequence. And you can see here the ships cannot bend like this, and that this one's just too long. So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to start a new puzzle. One kind of immediate consequence with this is if we ever consider a situation where one of the two bottom ones are not mines, then we can see that the ship has to bend, right? So then we know that both of these must be mines, but then that tells us that there is not a mine here, here, or here. Just my diagonal thing I was talking about earlier. Critically, though, this one actually forces that 4 to always look like this. And that's just a consequence that's true for every 4 on the edge of a grid in a battleship puzzle, so yeah. We can go ahead and mark some diagonals real quick like this. By normal Minesweeper logic, we know that there must be a mine here, no mines here for this 2-4 pairing. There we are. Same logic can tell us that this is true, and that as well. And we now know that for this one, no matter where we put the one mine around it, this diagonal will be covered by that mine, so we can mark that. We know neither of those are mines just because the one mine for this one is right here. And we also know that for this 2 clue, this pairing is not allowed because these mines are diagonally touching, so the mine must be there, or rather there must be a mine there. There we go. Okay. We now know that for this 2, its last mine is in one of these 2 squares from this 2, so there's no mine there. That tells us there is a mine there, no mine there. That 3 clue's finished, this 2 clue's also finished, so is this 1 clue. Diagonal rule, 1 clue finished. And there's 1 mine left, 1 open space, boom, there we go, puzzle has been completed. This is one of the, I would say easier variants, but it's pretty satisfying. We'll go ahead and get into a harder one, though. Maybe I'll have to eat my words on this, not sure. Alright, so I guess the first thing to consider for this is what happens if there's a mine up here. Then we know neither of these are mines, and then our remaining 3 mines must be in this position. That breaks the diagonal rule, so there we go, there's a non-mine there. I figured that was probably the case. That's actually a kind of common pattern in this puzzle as well, as well as just trying to find mines in random spaces like that, where it's like directly away from it, where it covers multiple diagonals. Anyway, okay. I guess the next thing we can kind of consider is what happens if there's a mine like here, for instance. Then we know that this 1 clue is completed. These 2 squares are the important ones, though. We also know this one cannot be a mine, right? So then this 4 clue now we can see is going to look like this, which is not allowed. So we know this one cannot be a mine. There we are. Okay. And I guess the next thing we can kind of consider is what happens if there's a mine here. Then we once again know that all of these cells cannot be mines. Breaks the 4 clue again, so there cannot be a mine there either. And, okay, I guess something else we can kind of consider is if there is a mine here. I don't actually think this one leads to any problems, but just, yeah, no, it really doesn't. Then we can have our ships be here, and that's all good. I'm also not actually sure. Yeah, no, never mind. Nope. This a mine being here also runs into problems with the 4, so there cannot be a mine there. There we are. Okay. I think that's most of everything. Yeah. Okay, so we can now consider if there is a mine here, for instance, then there cannot be a mine there. And then for this 4 clue, I'm not completely sure what, if anything, this tells us. Maybe nothing from that. Instead, let's consider there's like not a mine there or something, for instance. Then we know there must be 2 mines here, just because if there was one of these and that was a non-mine, that pairing would have to exist, which is impossible. So we can go ahead and mark both of these. That gives us all of this information. But then that breaks the 4 because we then have to have like a not a ship of mines. So we know that there must be a mine here. I wonder if making this one here a non-mine would run into a similar style of issue. It feels like it might. Although maybe not. Yeah, no, never mind. This works barely. You have to do something like this for it to actually operate correctly, but this is valid within the rules. So we cannot claim the same thing about this cell right here. And I guess if... Okay, actually, yeah, we also know this one now can't be a mine, just... this is something we could have found earlier, but it blocks all of these cells, which makes the 3 have to have a bend, so there we are. Okay, that's something. So I guess now we can kind of consider some cases where, like, for instance, this one up here is a mine, right? Because then for this 2 clue, well, then we also know this one must be a mine, like such, and this breaks the 4. That we probably could have gone earlier as well. I'm not great at spotting some of this kind of stuff. But yeah, I guess in this case, the 2 clue would work fine. Whatever. Okay. I guess we can also just consider if, like, this one up here, for instance, is not a mine. Then we know that both of these corner ones must be mines. That one can't be a mine as well. Okay, it doesn't look like it gives us a lot on its own. Yeah, not really. Okay. That is all good. So maybe now it'd be worth it to look into if any of these cells down here being mines break something. First of all, we know if this one down here is a mine, it does. And that's just because we know there's only one mine down there by a standard kind of difference trick. Maybe I'm not going to explain it right now, but maybe I'll re-explain it in a future video. Anyway, we then can get all of this just because, well, same difference in mines trick. We now know that all 3 of these must be mines, unless none of those are. This 4 clue is now finished. So is this 1 clue. Right there. This 4 clue is also finished. We can mark off those diagonals. This 1 clue is finished, and okay. And this ship is at its maximum length. So there we go. We can finish off all of these clues. That's from the same diagonal trick as before, and this is from the 2 thing we were talking about earlier. This 1's finished, this 2 is finished, and there we go. We have now finished the puzzle just for completing other clues, and we have no mines left. So there we are. We can go back out of this, and we're probably going to do a decent amount of some combinations with this now. So we can just go and get into it. I guess the first one I will do is X Prime, or X Battleship and Mini Cross. We can go and get into it. This clue is already finished, so there we are. And okay. So I guess, regardless of where the mines are around these, we know there will be at least one mine up here just because they can't both be down here. And that tells us that this one over here cannot be a mine by the diagonal thing we were talking about earlier. So we can mark all of these now just by finishing up clues. And that's just from the diagonal. 0 is also finished. And we also actually know that this one over here can never be a mine, because if it is, then there must be one mine in one of these 2 positions. Either way, it'll break our diagonal rule. It's actually interesting. It means that the maximum clue size for mini cross is going to be 2, just because of that rule, I guess. So, yeah, that's something. Well, we can kind of just smoothly sail through all of that. And now, I guess, we're at a point where we're once again going to have to consider the maximum boards, or the maximum number of mines we have left and how we can kind of fit them in. One thing I guess I can notice is that if this one's a non-mine, then it works out fine. We get all of these as mines. Whereas if this one is a mine, then we get neither of these are mines, and then this actually breaks it. We only have 4 total spots filled in, but we need 5, so I think that actually just gives us that, yeah, this is the solution. There we are. And, okay. Something I also realized I actually didn't do for Triplet Prime that I should have was a Knight, despite how much I dislike it, to be honest. But we'll go ahead and do a Knight puzzle real quick with Battleship rules. And if you don't remember from the past, Knight is just chess knights move away. Those are the cells that each clue gives you. So, yeah. Okay. So first of all, we could just meet this one was already finished, and okay. I guess something we can kind of, first of all, do any of these overlap? Kinda, but not really. Okay. I guess in the context of maybe this 3, there's some stuff worth looking at, right? Because, yeah. Maybe. Okay, something I might do real quick is just consider all of the one clue positions and see if there are any like kind of shared, I guess, consequences of them for this one right here, just because it's got a fairly small number of things it can do. So yeah. Okay, first all, it allows us to mark off all of these, and then we also get all three of these as mines as well, just to finish off this 3 clue. So there we are. Next, if there is a mine here, then there cannot be mines in any of these positions by the diagonal idea. We also know there can't be a mine over there. And, okay. Does that give us anything else immediately from here? Not really, to be honest, which is a shame. Just kind of hoping for something a bit more from that, but whatever. Right, does this 3 clue give us anything here? Not really. Okay. Then the last case here is if there is a mine over here, for instance, then we know none of these can be mines. We also know that this one up here can't be a mine, just because that one clue is finished. And, okay. Now, I guess we can notice that this 3 clue over here has a somewhat limited selection of cells. It must be these 3 specifically, and that just gives us some additional information about some of those cells right there. And that also actually finishes off this 1, which is critical because that actually gives us this cell right here in common for all 3 of them. So there we are. And okay. Conveniently for us, this 3 is already finished, so I'm actually just going to get rid of all the pencil marks. I don't think they're going to be relevant. You can go ahead and mark all of those by diagonals now. And, okay. Well, okay. Maybe I should cut the pencil marks. I don't know. We now have a larger pool of information, though, so it's not as relevant as it once was. Okay. I guess something we can consider real quick is I'm going to first run through just this case again where there is a mine up there, because I think it leads to interesting consequences with this too, potentially. Because it tells us that mines must be in both of those positions, which allows us to mark off all of these cells, and critically that gives us all of the cells for this 3. So we can mark all of those, and mark the diagonal cells as well. And, okay. Does this just work with everything, though? Yeah, more or less appears like it does. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, it looks like we are just going to be running back through these cases again, so... Ah, well. That's fine. That happens to the best of us. So then we know that neither of these are filled in either, and okay. Yeah. I think that's all that this case is going to give us. Yeah, okay. And lastly, if there is a mine down here, then we can mark all of these cells as non-mines. We can also mark that one as well, and this one up here. Okay. And then for this 3, we know that all of these ones will be mines, which then gives us more diagonals that we know will be non-mines. And does this tell us anything else? Yes, it also tells us this one down here must be a mine as well. And okay, that also finishes up this 1 for us. We can mark both of those. We can actually also mark this one in the yellow case. But does that give us anything else? Yeah, not really. Trying to see if there's like any other information that can be gleaned from this. Well, actually, there is something in the blue case. This thing is already a row of size 4 now, so we can mark that one as a non-mine as well, but that cell doesn't really have any interactions with other cells currently, so not a terribly useful piece of information for us right now. Well, I guess we can also consider the case of this 3 under some of them. Like, for instance, in the yellow case, we know that this one must be mine. Okay. And then, yeah, in the red case, we can see that the mines are also somewhat restricted, but it doesn't appear... Well, okay, actually, here's something we can glean. We know that there will be there's only 4 open cells left, and there must be 1 mine in 3 of them, so that means we know there must be at least 1 mine in this group right here. That tells us there was not a mine there. There we go. Whoops. That was a terrible, tragic misclick, so hold on, we're gonna go loop back through it real quick. Nope, which cell was it? It was that one. Okay. Dang, that's frustrating. Ah, well, it's fine. We should be able to catch back up to where we were pretty soon. Because I think it was literally just from here we got that. Yeah, this one up here has to be a non-mine. There we go. Okay. Well, I feel so bad because I've drawn this thing like twice, but the second time it had to get deleted from the misclick, so that's okay. It's fine. You know what? I'm just gonna at least get very good at being able to tell where mines are in the Knight rule set, and I'm just gonna go ahead and kind of. I'm not gonna talk through every deduction I make on this because, to be frankly honest, I've already done it twice, so it'd be a bit redundant, but we can actually also see now from this one that the yellow case is impossible, so there we go, and the reason is just because we could show that there had to be 2 mines in this one clue's region, so there we are. Now I guess we can next consider, if this one is a mine, then we know neither of those are mines. That also gives us the last mine for this group, so we can mark off all of these. Something I can actually immediately notice is that in the red case, this one will also be a non-mine, so we can just mark that real quick. Just get it out of the way. Okay. And now we can, okay. I guess we can consider in this case that both of these must also be mines. From the 3, that gives us that. I'm not sure how much else this gives us. I guess it also gives us a mine up here. Okay. I guess we'll now consider the red case in earnest. So we know that these all will not be mines, just from how this works. Okay. And this actually gives us a set of 3 mines for this 3. So we can notice that there is that diagonal that is shared between these as a non-mine. So there we are. Unfortunately, it doesn't give us another clue, but that's okay. I think there's still more information that we can kind of gather from this, hopefully. Yes, we can then see that in the red case, there must be a mine up here as well. Okay. And is there anything else for us, really? I guess, maybe not. Oh, wait, well, I guess, yeah, something else I'm actually seeing is this. That one's always a mine, but generally getting mines is less relevant than getting non-mines in some of these variants. You can also actually see that in both cases, this one has a mine around it. I didn't mark all the non-mines for the red, but you can see there's a mine down here, so neither of these can be mines ever. There we go. This 2 clue is now finished. That's cool. Okay. Here we're just going to click back on this. So I'm not completely now seeing what else we can really get deductions from, unfortunately, right now. But maybe there is something else. Well, no, yeah, in the red case, actually, I've realized that we've come around to a problem with this 2. And this problem has been around for a while, so apologies if you noticed a while ago. But yeah, in the red case, this 2 doesn't have enough mines around it, so we know now that the yellow case must definitively be the actual case. And from here, we just have finished up a lot of our clues. We can get rid of all of this. This 3 still needs to be finished, this 3 needs to be finished, and there's now 1 cell left, 1 mine left. There we go. Puzzle has been solved. Alright. And I guess next we'll do a battleship longest wall as well. We can go and get into that. So first of all, we know that none of those will have mines, just those clues are already finished, and okay. So I guess first of all, we can consider each of the cases for this one kind of in tandem here. We then know that there must be a mine here for this 2 clue, so we can mark off both of these as non-mines as well. If there's a mine here, on the other hand, then we know none of these are mines, and for this 2 clue, this one over here must be a mine as well. So that gives us all of this information. Also, this one, I guess, is a non-mine, but yeah. critically though, that tells us the square up here is never a mine, so there we are. It looks like that's not actually going to be enough though for this puzzle. We can also actually see that since this ship is going to go up or down in order to finish up this 2, it's not going to be able to go horizontally, so that one is not a mine either. There we are. Okay. So the next thing to kind of notice is that for this 3, it's going to have a straight line of 3. It can't be there, so the straight line must be over here. That tells us that this one will never be a mine right there. Also gives us a lot of non-mines kind of just coming across here. There we go, we can mark off all of those. Now in the red case, okay, well we can see it for the red case, our row of 3 can't be going up there, that would overload the 2, so it must go either down here or across here. Either way, this one is a mine, so we can mark this and get rid of all of its diagonals. Cool, that's a good piece of information. It completes just going to rule out the 3 case, but basically, or the yellow case, which is what we had most of our deductions for. You can see here that this 3 clue must have its row of 3 go across like this, because it can't bend by the battleship logic, so there we go. And that tells us that this row of 2 for this 2 clue must be here. We can then mark all of these off. The reason I'm talking about rows of 2 in the context of this, once again, is just because of its battleship. In normal longest wall, you can have stuff bend. But yeah, anyway, that 2 clue is finished. And this 3 clue is also consequently finished. And this 2 clue now is also done. So is that one. And we actually have just already gotten all of our mines on the board. So the puzzle is completed. There we go. And maybe I'll do one more battleship one. Maybe we'll do battleship, I guess eyesight. I haven't done many eyesight combinations yet. We'll go and get into it. Okay, so first of all, by normal eyesight logic, we know that these 2 must be non-mines, just because this 8 has a minimum kind of distance needs to go down. And we can similarly see that this 9 forces at least this one to be a non-mine, and it also forces this one to be a non-mine. And all that's just from kind of like counting. Okay, we now have a few cases. One of them is if this 6 goes all the way across, which can also be denoted with putting mines there. This will actually cause a problem, because we can see that this one down here will have to be a non-mine, and maybe which breaks the fact that this one would only need to have 4, I guess, in a total. Maybe a better way to think about that is that we can see the same consequence arise if we force this one to only have 4 there, because we need 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That tells us the same thing about this 6. But it's, I guess, in a way that we can more concretely deny, I guess. Okay. So I guess now there are a few options for this 6. One of them is that it only goes up 1, and that's as far as it can go. Then that tells us this one down here must also be a mine. We can go and mark off all of these. You can also see that we have 4, 5. Oh, actually, does that cause problems? Yeah, it does actually for this 8. Okay. So, cool. I guess what that tells us then is that if it goes up here, it must go up again, which then I guess gives us all of this information. So this is just like one of our potential cases right here. So there we are. Okay. Well, except 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Alright, hold on. No, actually, no, it has to go all the way down there. That is my bad. I wasn't really looking at it that hard and seeing that it went up like that. Okay. That's interesting. So I guess then the other really case, because like for instance, if we do something like this, I think it's still going to run into the same problem. Yeah, where like this 8 is going to, oh no, never mind, no, this case is also actually valid. I didn't really pay that much attention to that or notice it, but yeah, no, this case works fine, because this one still has to go down there, since the, by the difference of these, I think we talked about more in the eyesight video, hopefully I did, but yeah, so we can then see that this 8 must also go all the way over here in this case. And then lastly, there's like this blue case where we're going to push this one down 1. I guess there are like a few variations of it. Well, I guess, no, actually. We know that this one will have to go down 2. If it only goes down 1, then this 9 area is also finished, but that gives us this diagonal problem again. So we can then see that this one will have to go down 2. Basically, what this is telling us is that this one must always be a non-mine as well. There we are. Okay. Cool.
So that actually tells us now in this blue case both of these must be non-mines as well, as must this, and as must this one as well. Okay. So, we also mark that. I'm not sure this is going to give us that much information on its own, really. Yeah, maybe instead it would be better think about if this one here is a mine, for instance. Then we know both of these are non-mines, and that's all of our non-mines, so we can mark off those. I guess all of our vertical non-mines, rather. So this is just going to give us some information like such. But then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 like that. Also tells us both of these are non-mines. And, whoops. So over here is a non-mine. Doesn't give us any more information about this 8 other than this. No, actually not necessarily. Okay. Yeah, okay, I guess that works validly fine. So I guess then we can consider, yeah, I guess then I'll see if there are any kind of combinations with it. This one up here is a mine instead, for instance, or something. Right, because then we get this information. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily look like it will lead to anything, though, unfortunately. But that's okay. We'll go and finish up the kind of, I guess, case analysis on it first, before I come to any conclusions. And we can also mark that one as a non-mine, or rather as a mine, and get all of these up here. Get that one as well, and okay. What else does this give us, really? Well, I'm not sure if this tells us a lot either. I'm actually kind of stuck on this puzzle. I guess we will see. Yeah, no, that's not really a lot of information, is it? Okay. Maybe that isn't the direction to go, then. Right, because... I guess something else we can consider is kind of trying to track the possibilities for this 8 or the bottom 8 and seeing if either of those run into issues, right? Since we know it's always going to have 2 additional ones going this direction. So the first case is if it has these ones. Okay. Then we know the 6 must at least go down there, but that's, I think, all the information we can really gather from that. Yeah, okay. Next case is if it goes over here and over here, like that. Then we get all of this information. This also tells us that the 6 must stop over there, and gives us both of these as well. That's all the information from that. And the last case is if we have it going all the way over here. Then we know there's a mine there, no mine there. And, okay. This also gives us a non-mine here in this case, right? Yeah, because if there were a mine there, then the blue would extend too far. Okay. Otherwise, though, I'm not really completely sure where to go with this, because I'm not seeing any commonalities between any of these that I can kind of, like, deduce, I guess. So maybe then it'll be more relevant to think about this bottom 8 and see if this one leads to problems. It seems unlikely that it will, though, because it's further away from all this other stuff, so I'm kind of iffy. Last thing I'm considering is kind of checking this horizontal afterwards. I guess I'll have to get more creative. So first of all, there is that yellow case, then there's this red case where we can actually notice that this 6 can't go down here, so that kind of forces it to go up here. And that's just because it's this would extend too far otherwise. So we can kind of get this. Okay, well actually here's something. And then the last case, if it goes all the way over here, we can still see that that one's a non-mine. So we can always mark this as such, and there we go. That, I think, was the piece of information that we kind of need to continue with this puzzle in any meaningful way. Okay. So I guess now we're just going to do some case analysis on this 6 and see kind of what happens. So first of all, if we put a mine up here, then we know there must be non-mines there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There must also be one over there. Okay. And I guess... So So let's put some mine up there. I don't know if this does a lot else, though. Not necessarily, I don't think. So, okay. Next, we can consider if there is not a mine here, and what exactly really happens. Well, I guess here, I'll just put a mine over here instead and see. Okay. So then we get non-mines in both these positions. We get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like such. Okay. And then we also know that this 6 must at least go up 1 as well. And, okay. Is that most of what we can really get from this? Yeah, it kind of looks like it is. Okay. I guess the last case, if this is what I'm trying to do, is like if there are not mines in either of those positions, right? Then we already have 4 on this, it can only have 2 more, but it's not clear necessarily to me where those ones would actually be. So, Okay. Maybe it'll be more relevant to check another one, like the case that we already kind of looked at. Maybe what I'll do is I'll think about this 6's possibilities again. So first of all, we know that there are 3 possibilities for where this 6 goes with stuff. If it goes over here, then I don't know if this really interacts with this 6 much. It kind of doesn't, to be honest. That's okay. We can then, we can then consider if it goes around like this. Exactly what happened. And we know this one's also a non-mine, just because this 6 needs to extend upwards more. So there we are. Okay. Then the last case. I see. Yeah, this is kind of what the 6 is giving us. We can see that this one is never a mine. So there we are. Okay, and this is another 6. Cool. So actually, now I think that if we once again consider the case where it goes like this, then this actually overloads this 6, because it also needs to have 2 going up and down. That breaks it. Okay. So I guess we can now consider the cases for this 6. One of them is it goes here, right? Then we get this situation again, where it's going to go over there by 1. Cool. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, that also actually marks this one over here as a mine as well. So there we go. That information we can all get. Now the other possibility is that there's a mine up here instead. And okay. Right, and the reason why I'm not counting the possibility was 1, 1 is that that one actually doesn't work. It breaks it, so alright. Here we can go. We can see that there are going to be some mines in common. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Or some non-mines, rather, in common. First of all, we get this one, and we get both of these and this. So there we are. Okay. Apparently that's not actually enough to give us more information, though, which is interesting. Well, I guess something actually we can now see is that regardless of where this, where the mines are around this, there must always be a mine here. There we go. That's something. Okay. So you can now consider what happens if this one's a non-mine, right? Then this 3 still needs to extend, but either way it goes, it'll extend by too much. So we know this one must be a mine. That one's less a non-mine. Therefore, this 3 is finished. We can now mark our diagonals. We can finish up this 6 as well. And, okay. This 8 is also done. This 8 must at least extend over there, which finishes it. This 6 is now finished as well. That 6 needs to at least extend over there. This 7 is finished. This 6 is thus finished. So is this 2. And then we have no mines left. So there we are. Okay. And I believe that this is going to conclude this video. It's ran a little bit long. That puzzle was very satisfying, to be honest. It was definitely tough. But we got there. So, okay. Next time we're going to continue covering some more of these special variants. We'll be getting to Anti-Night, which is honestly way easier than Night normal. Don't tell them I said that, though. But, yeah. Catch you all next time. Peace.